Here we go with the Thursday evening edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. We have no shortage of things to talk about once again this evening, so let's get right to it. First of all, another challenging commute for many this morning. Right on schedule, our rain changed over to some snow. This time lapse starts at 3 a.m. when everything was still rain. But then you're going to see here on our Columbiana cam, the snow pushed in. It accumulated locally a half an inch to an inch to an inch and a half in some spots before tapering off around mid-morning, making everything slick. The snow combined with kind of a refreeze of some of the slush and water that was out there made things pretty slick. We picked up exactly an inch worth of snow at the Youngstown Warren Airport, bringing our month-long tally up to 18.3 for January. Now for the season, we're up to 32.4 now with today's inch. Still behind last year's pace, but we've made up a lot of ground, of course, since the big snowstorm last weekend, and we're just a few inches shy of average and about 7 inches shy of where we were at the same time last year. All right, some residual business here before we move on to what's going to happen in the future. Our rivers are still running high. We have a flood warning out, Mahoning River at Leavittsburg at 9 feet or so as of 5:15. A crest tomorrow morning, probably around 11 feet, which is right smack dab in the middle of minor flood stage. Also Eagle Creek at Phalanx Station, southwestern Trumbull, most recent OB at 12.124, right in the middle of minor flood stage, reaching a peak tonight and then very quickly receding, thankfully, as we go into the day tomorrow. All right, as far as what's going on this evening, we've got a quiet evening weather-wise across the valley. It is slick out there, and I just went out and moved my car after the 6 o'clock news, and our parking lot is a sheet of ice. Any slush or water that wasn't cleared out earlier on today before sunset is now a glacier, and it's going to be slick out there on anything that's untreated tonight into tomorrow. So hopefully you took advantage of today's relatively benign afternoon, and yes, it was cold out, but it was still up into the 20s. Everything wasn't completely frozen solid yet, but hopefully you took advantage of that and got rid of any residual slush and water sitting around on your driveway or your sidewalks and whatnot. Just a little bit of snow with our Arctic front off to the west is going to try to track in tonight. I don't think it's going to be much, but we may see some snowflakes before the night is through. Look how much colder it is behind that Arctic front. 2 in Dubuque, Iowa, -1 in Minneapolis. The wind chill's, of course, way colder. It's 22 below for a wind chill in Minneapolis at this hour, so no surprise. A slew of wind chill advisories and wind chill warnings out for parts of the Midwest this evening. Actually, wind chill advisories as nearby as Central Ohio. I do not expect us to reach wind chill advisory criteria around here tonight, although it's going to be pretty cold. Winter storm warnings up for southwestern New York. This is going to be a southwestern New York special when it comes to lake effect, settling in tonight and especially into tomorrow and tomorrow night with kind of a due west, almost southwesterly fetch over Lake Erie. That is a bullseye wind direction for the snowbelts south of Buffalo and up to and including downtown Buffalo as well. Won't be as big of a deal at all in northwest PA and far northeast Ohio. Our model is not real impressive looking for the overnight tonight as far as snow goes, but there'll be some light snow showers, some flurries overnight. Less than an inch out of this, but it's going to be so cold every flake of this can stick. And so a little dusting of snow on top of some localized icy areas. Yeah, just be cautious on the roads tonight into tomorrow morning. We'll lose the snowflakes pretty early, I think, on your Friday. As far as wind chills go on Friday morning, probably pretty close to 0 as the day gets underway. And not much improvement in the afternoon. I mean, wind chills are going to be generally 0 to 5 below all day. Maybe bottoming out for a time Friday night before they start rising again by Saturday morning. I think temperatures will also start to rise late Friday night and before daybreak on Saturday. As far as the weekend forecast goes, after a cold and quiet end of Friday, again, the modeling not real impressive looking here on Saturday, but I think there can be the occasional little bands of light snow showers that cruise through. May have one wave of that early Saturday and another one by Saturday evening into Saturday night, and maybe some more residual snow showers off and on into Sunday. Overall, the weekend snow is not going to add up to much, but again, we'll have to watch for some slick spots here and there. All right, so we've got more snow probably coming our way on Monday. This is a warm front heading our way on Monday. And that front will probably try to spread snow in here right around midday to early afternoon. This could make for a real tricky late afternoon and evening commute on Monday. And then it's possible for a time Monday night, the snow briefly changes to rain. I think we'll reach our warmest part of this early week stretch probably Monday night at some point. Now, this is the European model, which is farther north and warmer than the GFS, but I think there's a chance that we see some sort of mix or liquid precipitation for a time Monday night before the Arctic hammer gets dropped and temperatures plummet on Tuesday. And this is the true Arctic air mass we've been talking about coming in for Tuesday and into Wednesday. Notice how tightly packed together our isobars are here. This is going to be a nasty day coming up on Wednesday and right into Wednesday night as well. This is going to be a significant cold snap, no doubt. I looked at the weather records dating back to 1990. Here's the coldest temperature by calendar year. Last year in 2018 in January, we did have a real cold stretch early in the month, and one of those mornings we hit -11. A lot of people remember the winters of 2013-14 and 2014-15. Real cold stretches there, and we bottomed out in February of 2015 at a -16. The gold standard, of course, everybody who's been around here a long time remembers January of 1994, our coldest temperature on record on the 19th day of January 1994. We just hit the 25-year anniversary of that a handful of days ago. Now, as far as our forecast goes, I think we're going to rival this stuff, and I can't rule out, even though I don't think it's super likely, I can't rule out we even get a little colder than -16 Wednesday night. And if we do, that would make it our coldest temperature since this -22 back in 1994. I think that's a low-end chance at this point, but it's something I can't rule out. It doesn't matter either way. Whether we're 13 below, 11 below, 15 below, it's going to be the same impacts either way as far as the wind chills go. This is valid mostly. I've got the circle area here for late Wednesday night into Thursday morning. This is probably the neighborhood we'll be in. Somewhere in the teens below zero for air temperatures and winds probably between 10 and 20, perhaps 25 miles per hour. When you have that combination, these are the wind chill numbers. I mean, it's conceivable we hit -30 to -40 for a wind chill for a time Wednesday night and early Thursday. We're a long way away from this, and we've got plenty of time to fine-tune this forecast. But again, don't get real hung up on the numbers. Whether the wind chill is -28 or -38, it's still bad. It's still something you don't want to be out in. And, of course, common sense applies when it comes to pets and animals. I say that, but no doubt we're going to run some stories next week about people leaving their pets out. You'd think that would be something I wouldn't have to say, but you see it every year. All right, longer range. Cold run of the European weekly long-range modeling here. Right through February. These are the temperature anomalies, so here's, the short term. And then as we get into February, as you go through time, of course, it looks less impressive, but that's pretty typical of an ensemble model. As you go out through time, the extremes get ironed out some, and so it doesn't look as impressive looking, but the signal is there that the cold has some legs through a large chunk of February. I'm not sure if this is the right idea yet. We're still a week away from February, but I think this has some validity. I think it's reasonable to expect that February could be real cold, and that's something we've been talking about for a few months now. Looks like we're certainly going to head into this pattern before February starts, and February has a chance to be really, really cold. That's it for tonight's Weather for Weather Geeks. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll have a Friday night edition of this video coming your way, same time, same place tomorrow.